final power rankings of the regular season. This is it. Guys, this is it. We're going to dive into these. We're going to have some fun. We're going to maybe do some power rankings for the playoffs. I think that would be a lot of fun. We'll maybe do like a playoff power ranking. We'll do some playoff games and different segments for the playoffs coming up. We might change the schedule around depending on how the playoffs pan out. We've been doing the 1 hour a week, but that's been kind of with all the other news happening in the NBA. Since there's not a lot of other sports happening, we might move our NBA show for the playoffs back to Wednesdays and Sundays, and we'll figure that out. We'll figure out the scheduling aspect. But just a heads up for you guys. I know you guys love your NBA on Thursday, your power hour. We might be shifting for the playoffs over to more of a Wednesday or Sunday as well. So just keep that in mind. Thursdays may go away for a minute. We'll see, but not within the next week. So the games at home, though, sacrifice health for a championship every time. I mean, health is huge, especially for the Nuggets. Nuggets is massive. All right, so let's dive into some of these power rankings here. A lot to get to, so let's dive in and start out with number 10. The Warriors finished the regular season at number 10. And the Warriors are a very, very interesting team. They could be a scary team most of the year, or most of the time, you would think, right? They're, very good. They have a lot of experience. So if they make it in, they're going to be a dangerous team. We'll see what happens with the Warriors. But the issue I have with the Warriors, and the one scary thing that is potentially coming back, is Andrew Wiggins, who's been out since before the All-Star break. If he laces up and he's back to being normal Andrew Wiggins, I think there's going to be some rust. But they need him to be effective to go to the NBA Finals or make a run if that's the case. The bench for the Warriors has not been good. They ranked 22nd in aggregate net rating, and the Warriors have been outscored 1.4 points per 100 possessions with Jordan Poole on the floor. Gary Payton is back, but Gary Payton hasn't been moving the needle. He's a minus 22 in 54 minutes for them. Even though he's very aggressive, he could play some good defense. I just don't believe the Warriors without Wiggins and the way they've been playing on the road. They have been absolutely terrible on the road. I don't understand how you can be so good at home and it just wheels fall off on the road. But they are a lower seed, which means they will be on the road in the playoffs. So with that being said, I still don't believe that the Warriors are going to be enough to get over the hump with some of the, maybe they win potentially, like they get in that initial, maybe, I mean, right now they're going to be that 6th seed probably, right? But I don't know. I worry about the Warriors, and I worry about them, that not from a Nugget standpoint. I worry about their team being able to compete in the playoffs on the road. Which is why they're still going to be dangerous. They can shoot lights out. They got 2 of the best shooters ever to play the game. They have a starting 5 with Andrew Wiggins, if he's back, that is rivals most starting 5s based off of production. Maybe not star power, but production. They're very, very good. So for that reason, Warriors still dangerous to have them number 10. New York Knicks, still finding ways to win. Brunson is absolutely having. I was wrong on Brunson. When he was taken over, when he went to the New York Knicks, I was like, why did the New York Knicks get a good player and spend everything they did on him? Well, he's proven me wrong. He's actually been not only an all-star, but even maybe a little better. He's been really, really good. New York Knicks 7-3 in their last 10, 5-game winning streak, locked in at that into the playoff picture already. Like they're in great shape. They're in great shape. Do I like their chances in the East? No, I don't at all. But I think there's some things brewing here in New York that New York fans haven't seen in a while, and that's some success coming from a team that they haven't ever really experienced, at least recently. So Knicks, Knicks coming in here at this spot at number 9. Still very good offensively, 5th overall in offensive rating per 100 possessions. Just little lower third in defense, which is where I kind of worry about them a little bit more. And they have a slow pace, which kind of fits itself more into the playoff picture. But either way, Julius Randle, Brunson. I mean, they have a night. I feel like they have a decent coach there. They'll be fine. But they won't win much with these other teams at the top of the East. Number 8, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. Still a team I don't believe in. I don't believe in this team. I don't believe that they have the shooting. I don't believe they have the offensive just spot up shooting to get through a game or a series against really good teams. I think that they could get run out real quick. I know they're the number 2 defensive rated team in the NBA. I know they're a gritty team. I know that Ja is great, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is insane on the defensive side. I just think that between Desmond Bane and some of the other role pieces that are around Ja and Jaren Jackson, I mean, this isn't a great shooting team. And I think that's where they're going to struggle. They're not going to be able to shoot threes as efficiently as some of the other teams in the NBA playoffs. So I struggle to see them beating a team like Phoenix or Denver, or maybe outside of that, maybe they have some troubles even with the Lakers potentially. If the Lakers are the Warriors, that would be a hell of a matchup, right? But I just they're lacking here. They're missing depth. Brandon Clark got knocked out early on in the season, or actually most recently in the season. Still not a big fan, but happy Easter week to my USA. My NBA team is Golden State. Hey, Golden State, they're getting healthier at the right time. And you're getting Andrew Wiggins back, APC. So there you go. APC rolling from Australia down under. Appreciate you popping in, APC. Love you, bro. So Grizzlies coming in number 8. Number 7, Light the Beam. Light the Beam. The most exciting and fun team to watch in the NBA is at number 7. The Sacramento Kings, number 1 offense in history. Like they're absolutely insane with what they're doing. But all season long, they've been doing it. They've been killing it offensively. And they're one of 3 teams, the Mavs, the Knicks, others rank in top 10 in 3 of the 4 factors on offense. They're number 1, the most important one, and that's, points, obviously. But effective field goal percentage, 57.6%, highest mark in NBA history. I mean, they're very, very good. They're polished. You got Sabonis, you got Fox, you got all these guys, really good role players around them. Again, the only thing I have with them is defense. They're the opposite. Things like we've seen historically that offensive teams that are very high powered slow down in the playoffs. They just don't translate over. We've seen this with the Phoenix Suns back in the day with Steve Nash and that run and gun Mike D'Antoni offense. We've seen it with some of these other teams that, just run and gun. The Nuggets have been a team like that for a while. But under George Karl, that didn't have enough success. It's just, the whistles stop blowing in the playoffs. Things slow down. And I just think that's going to be a recipe for disaster when it comes to the Kings. I want them to be successful. And I think they're a couple defensive player pieces away from being a really, really good team and being at the top of this power ranking. So keep an eye out for them, but they're going to be lighting the beam for years to come with a team like that. I'm telling you, it's going to be, keep an eye on them. Number 6, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers are a very interesting team. I think that they match up well in the East. Should they find themselves at any point in a matchup with Boston, keep an eye out on that. Keep an eye out on Boston to get upset by Cleveland in the playoffs. I'm not saying that it's a sure thing, but Cleveland has played Boston very close all year and have stole a couple wins from Boston. So don't sleep on Cleveland. They do have rough matchups with the other two teams in there. They've kind of struggled a little bit more or have average matchups with the Philadelphia 76ers or the Bucks. But they are very, very polished on a lot of sides of the basketball, including ranked number 1 defense and then also offensive rating number 7, top 10 in both categories. So they do it at a very, very high level. They're one of the slowest paced teams in the NBA, which lends itself to a little bit more of that playoff pace, right? When things slow down. So I really love the Cavs. I think they're a really fun team to watch. Do I think they're in the top echelon of those teams above them? No, but do I think that they could surprise people in the playoffs and get an upset against the team like the Boston Celtics? Yes, I do. They are very, very good in the paint defensively, and they have some offensive scoring power. Donovan Mitchell and all of those guys on that team are just they're crushing. They're crushing. And so, I mean, from all those standpoints, not a team to sleep on in the playoffs, for sure. Let's see. I played 2K23 in the NBA. It says APC. Let's see. Just think Joker on the Kings. I mean, they have Ty. They have Baby Joker. They have. There's 3 guys. I've seen. I don't know if you guys are Pokemon fans and you see the evolution of like Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. They get bigger and bigger and bigger and like what stronger at each time. I've seen like the whole evolution process of like Sengun in Houston evolves to Sabonis in Sacramento, evolves to the ultimate version, Jokic in Denver. It's like they're evolving over. It's like the same player, just at different stages, right? So yeah. See, Riley, I could relate it to Pokemon. There you go. They will line up against Milwaukee. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's aiming for right now, right? What about the Heat? The Heat are an interesting team. They didn't crack my top 10 here though. Heat. I mean, they're locked in. Well, they're in that mix, right? They're 1 game behind Brooklyn. I think the Miami Heat struggle with what's around Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has not had a lot of help with players helping him. Like the shooting in Miami has been kind of rough for, Jimmy Butler's has, really, he's really good at getting his teammates involved. His assist numbers would be crazy if some of the players around him could hit shots. I think that they're almost there. Almost. But I still love a lot of these teams a little bit better than the Miami Heat at this point. If you could relate all sports things to Pokemon, yeah. If the Heat could hit threes, they're going to be dangerous. And that size. 100%, Ty. That's the problem. They haven't been able to. All the consistency has kind of been sapped away, and you just don't know what you're getting. And you have Jimmy Butler kind of doing everything. You're right. Hero, Robinson, Strauss forgot to shoot threes. Like they just don't. What happened to them? They were so good. They were so good, and they've just struggled and been inconsistent from game to game for a while now. All right, number 5, Suns. I almost arguably put them a little higher, but Suns still, they're a team that everyone needs to watch out for. I don't care on what side. They're on a 6-game winning streak. They're already locked in. They're playing really good basketball. Kevin Durant is starting to get in a rhythm. Do I think that they're fully meshed together? No, but again, well, like I said earlier, Kevin Durant's a very good plug and play player. He can fit into a lot of systems. Just let him know what he needs to do. He'll do it. And I think from this standpoint, this is one of the more dangerous teams. It's one of the best starting fives you'll find in the NBA based off of the fact that you have Chris Paul, who veteran. He's not what he used to be, but can he distribute and can he manipulate games in a lot of different ways, including the referees? Yes. You got Devin Booker, who can score. You got Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton. Then you plug in whoever on that other spot, the three, Josh Okogie, Torrey Craig. Pick your poison. TJ Warren could slot in, but they're deep. I'm a little concerned about their bench. You know, they're not getting much from their bench. Cameron Payne's still not fully back to being what he was, and you know, again, Torrey Craig, TJ Warren, Terrence Ross. I mean, they're fine, but they're not anything that I get excited or get excited for if I'm a Suns fan, or worry about if I'm a like any other fan in the West or any other team. I think there's some deeper teams out there. This Phoenix team is going to beat you with their starting five. And honestly, like, I'm curious to see when the playoffs roll around how much Devin Booker and Kevin Durant can like let things kind of flow between them, right? When it comes to getting their shots. I mean, I think they'll be able to figure it out, but I mean, Devin Booker wants to be that guy. He's been that guy. To relinquish that to KD and let him kind of take over. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to feel. I mean, they all say all the right things and they're all doing the right things, which is, you know, what you would expect. But I would say I'm going to keep that on my radar. I'm not sure that that's going to be a smooth thing, especially in the playoffs when you want to be the man, you want to be the guy. Can you be selfless and give those possessions to, you know, someone else and let them score and it doesn't hurt your ego? I'm curious about that. So it'll be interesting. Chris Paul is on the downside of his career when it comes to defensive and being, you know, his quickness, his defensive ability. So I think there's some liabilities there. DeAndre Ayton, he doesn't really touch the ball. He's pretty much just a defensive guy now because there's none of the offense is running through him. So, Kleps, I do Thursday 1 hour show every Thursday, NBA. Talk strictly NBA and have a good time with it. So, we're actually, we got 5 minutes left in the show, so I got to get through these top four real quick. But yeah, we are live every Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Thursdays being our 1 hour power hour for the NBA. By the way, Suns, probably my second favorite to come out of the West. But we'll see. Thursday, it's going to be at 9:30 Eastern. 9:30 Eastern. Sixers coming in here, and I talked a lot about the Sixers when I was talking about the MVP race with Joel Embiid and what I felt about that. My biggest concern and why I don't think that they're going to be in the top echelon in the East is because they're one of two teams. They're two or three teams that are top 10 in offensive rating and defensive rating in the NBA. They're ranked third offensively and eighth defensively per 100 possessions in the NBA. They run a slow offense, but I mean, Joel Embiid, he's been needing to put this team on his back. James Harden has been streaky, and it's if you're a Sixers fan, you should probably be a little worried because he disappears in the playoffs. That is not a track record that you want to see, and it's all that James Harden has lived up to each and every single year. We have the same conversation every single year. Is this the year that we're going to have a real James Harden? We haven't seen that playoff James Harden, and even still, he wasn't even that guy in Houston. So what makes you think he's going to be that guy ever? I love James Harden as a regular season guy, but this time of year comes around, teams figure him out. They know how to shut him down, and realistically, he's not a guy that can lend help, which you put this game on Joel Embiid's back, he can't. I mean, You're going to burn that guy out. I don't think he can carry the 76ers team all by himself that deep into this playoffs, especially against teams as good as Milwaukee and Boston. So I think that's an issue. Toronto Raptors. Brandon, you love your Raptors. Yeah, okay. I love it. Hey, they're such an interesting team to watch. I'm telling you. I hear Wiggins is coming back. Yeah, he is. I wonder how rusty he's going to be. He's not going to be back for the the next couple games at least through the weekend. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But yeah, he's kind of his way back. I guess it all came out that he was having issues with his dad's health, I think, is what ended up being the thing, which, he took substantial time since the All-Star break for. But hopefully everything's good with him on that front. This is a scary team with him if he's back up to speed. I don't know if he's been working out. I don't know if he's been shooting around. I don't know if he's been. So if he hasn't, who knows what's going to happen? If he's going to be rusty or not. But, Clep, those are all rumors on the whole wife cheating with his best friend. Those are all very false. A lot of social media ran with those stories, and there's no truth to them. But they went far with those stories. But yeah, don't love the 76ers in the playoffs. Nuggets, my boys, trying to keep the expectations in a good spot. I have a lot of hype for the Denver Nuggets. I think the Denver Nuggets can be one of the best teams in the NBA on any given night. They have one of the best offenses. I think they're second in offense overall per 100 possessions. Actually, I think they've dropped third or fourth. They're yo-yoing. Now that the end of the season has come around and we haven't been playing full lineups, i.e. tonight, we're sitting all of our starters, rightfully so. I'm a little worried, and this happens every year, and I know I talked about it with Broncos earlier. I don't love the fact that they're sitting starters going into the playoffs. I would love to see limited minutes for our starters, but understand why we're not putting them in the lineups. I get it. I just don't want the rust. We've had a great shooting team all season long. I can see it, even the 2 or 3 games that Joker has missed over the course of the last week and a half. He comes back and we lose our last game because, even Joker wasn't at his standard. He was turning the ball over. There was a little rust baked into what his performance was. I'm a little not concerned, just hesitant on just putting everybody on the shelf until the playoffs and just turning it on again. I don't know if I love that plan. So I hope Michael Malone ends up getting them some action a little bit. But Nuggets doesn't matter. They went from a bottom third in defensive team. They were like 24th in the NBA. And as the season progressed, ended up getting into, at the peak, top 10 defensive rating overall in the NBA. And then now they're kind of hovering around 13, 14. But they're one of the best spot-up shooting teams in the entire NBA. There's absolutely nobody else that has been really, as consistent on that front. We've been one of the best defending the three-point line. You saw what happened with Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors the other night. The Nuggets have gotten so much better, substantially better from what we're used to over the course of the last 2 playoff runs, where we've given up 3 after 3 after 3. We haven't been able to defend the perimeter of the defensive side of the basketball, and that has changed. I think the fact that, if Jamal Murray can be healthy, and if he can play to a level even halfway up to that bubble Murray, we're in great shape. So I love the Nuggets' chances here. There's not a lot of teams in the West that I'm terrified of, outside of maybe Phoenix and maybe the I'm not gonna say the Warriors. I can't say the Warriors. I keep wanting to get baited in. I'm putting the Warriors on the shelf. I'm done. I'm not including the Warriors in this. Lakers, I don't know where the Lakers at these days. Lakers, Lakers present some matchup problems for the Nuggets that they're, when it comes to like switching off of pick and rolls, they worry me a little bit. They're really good at some of that. They're a dark horse that I can see just out of nowhere, just giving us trouble. But I think we're the better team? Yes. And do I think we can win a series against the Lakers? Yes. Chairman, how's the chip recovery? It's great. No issues. Had a little stomach ache, like a tightness in the stomach for about 5 minutes after the stream yesterday. Went away. We're good. We're golden. I did the hot one chip challenge yesterday, by the way, guys. It was incredible. In the weirdest way. But yeah, I survived. So my Nuggets, this is their year, man. I'm telling you, they're never gonna get closer. They do have a lot of pressure to perform because this is the healthiest team and the best team that they've ever had. Anything short of the Western Conference Finals is a disaster. A disaster. I don't know how I'd be able, like, honestly, I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not even going to talk about it because I don't even want to go down that road. Number 2, Milwaukee Bucks. I'll tell you why. One of my main reasons, I'm splitting hairs at 1 and 2, but there's a couple reasons why, and I'll just reveal the top here. Boston is at number 1. Milwaukee. They're very, very good. I think they're my pick to go to the NBA Finals, and I'm sticking with them. I do think that they're good enough, and I do think that they are the best team. But when it comes to my power rankings, it's hard for me to put them above the Boston Celtics. Right now, Milwaukee, number 3 defensive rating team. They have the best player in the world in Giannis. Giannis is absolutely insane. Drew Holiday, Brooke Lopez, and Chris Middleton have been out of control good or majority of the season. They do have their lapses here and there. They had that rough go against Boston the other day, but everyone has those. I think offense may be a struggle, though. They rank 15th on that end of the floor, outside of the top 10 for the first time in the last 6 seasons. They just have, I think when it comes to Giannis, he could give you a lot, but when it comes to like just pure shooting, not going to give you what you need, and if you're going to rely on him, which is why you don't typically rely on him. But Bucks have a point differential, 5th best in the league. I just think, or actually, yeah, 5th best in the league, point differential. So they try to put away teams early and often, but again, I just think that the 41-point loss to the Celtics worries me for Milwaukee fans. And Boston is stacked in a couple areas on that. I mean, they got some good depth. It's going to come down to these two teams, realistically. And when it comes down to it, I just lean Boston. And Boston, speaking of them, after the destruction of the Milwaukee Bucks this past Thursday, Celtics are 5-1 against Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and the only loss having coming in overtime with 4 starters out. So they're 2-1 against Milwaukee, 3-0 against Philadelphia. They match up well, which is strange for me to say because the Boston Celtics have had their way with the top 2 other teams below them or around them. And yet they struggle to win against the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's just a matchup thing. Where are the Clippers? They're off the list. They're 11, actually, because the Clippers choke every year, and I don't believe in them to do anything this season, especially with that roster. Like they're the Los Angeles Chargers of the NBA. They're great on paper. They've actually done a really decent job at working Westbrook in a little bit better, but I still don't trust them. I've seen what Kawhi and Paul George have done in the playoffs, especially against the Nuggets, who've kind of owned them. But they just haven't. They disappear from game to game. They'll have one great game and one terrible game. The pressure on, I don't know, man. Like playoff P has kind of disappeared, but he still shows up every so often. But yeah, And Chairman, the Pistons will be here once they get Victor Wembanyama, if they get him. Gosh, I'm telling you, Chairman, if you want to just be really excited about one sport and know that you have the chance to get one of the best players in across an entire sport, it's not going to be a quarterback for your Lions. It's not going to be, any one superstar for the Red Wings, whatever it may be. Victor Wembanyama. If you guys get Victor Wembanyama, you might not talk about the other sports. I'm telling you. Go watch his videos and just fall asleep to them every night, Chairman. Fall asleep to them. You're your worst team in the NBA, and you have a chance to get one of the best players. I said this at the top of the show. There are people out there saying, if knowing what LeBron James is and what his career is, going back and drafting him, knowing what he is in a crystal ball, and having Victor Wembanyama in the same draft, people have been considering taking Victor Wembanyama over LeBron, knowing what LeBron's career would turn into. That just tells you everything you need to know about how good this kid coming out is. He's Giannis with handles and better shooting, substantially better shooting. Think of that. A better version of Giannis, Chairman. That's what the player comps are. I'll still take LeBron over Wembanyama. I mean that's fair. That's fair. I mean, knowing what LeBron has done and has won championships and the longevity, I get that. Hype around this kid, though, there hasn't been another hype around anybody else since LeBron. All right, so Boston, top 5 in offensive and defensive rating. They've had their way with Philadelphia and Milwaukee, only dropping one game between all those matchups. I think the thing with the offense in the Boston Celtics is it's not always humming, which potentially leads to what we've seen a lot over the last part of the season, is them giving up leads. No lead is safe. I've talked to Boston fans. No lead is safe, even if they're up 15 or 20. So, I think that, that's what you got to worry about if you're Boston. But they've had their hiccups along the way. Guys, TNT, Phoenix, and Denver. Denver's not playing any starters, but go ahead and check out the TNT game. Watch our young kids try to do some fun things against the Suns. I don't know if you have nothing else going on. But LeBron is top 10 all time. Totally agree. LeBron is one of the greatest players to ever play the game. But that's not to say that Victor Wembanyama won't be in that conversation when it's all said and done either. So who knows? Hope we hit the lottery. Yeah, hope so, Chairman. I'll tell you, it's the hype will be real. Cuban, okay, but would they take him over the great MPJ? No, nobody would take him over the great MPJ. MPJ is the GOAT. He is the GOAT. No questions asked.
It's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap. All right, so there you go, guys. My final power rankings of the year: Warriors, Knicks, Grizzlies, Kings, Cavs, Suns, Sixers, Nuggets, Bucks, Celtics. We will come back next week and break down everything about the NBA playoffs I'm looking forward to. We'll have a better, clear idea of the matchups. We'll have predictions on what we think. We'll have actually some of the NBA awards starting to roll in as well. So we'll talk about those as well. So, guys, thank you for making this as fun as stream as. This is one of my favorite hours of the week. Broncos can listen to Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller butcher the hell out of Nuggets players' names. So bad. Yeah, it's true. It's true. They absolutely are terrible. Reggie's gotten a little bit better, but yeah. There are people that still can't get Jokic right. There's still some, come on, man. What are we doing?
Bruh.
What are we doing? It's wild to me that that's still an issue even amongst the people that have been saying his name for years. So I don't know. But either way, it should be simple. It should be simple. All right, guys. Let's see. Any better or worse than Chris at pronouncing names? I mean, arguable, pretty much. Guys, thank you for making my NBA show as fun as you always do. Chris doesn't mispronounce names. He reinvents them. Yes, Cuban.
It's spicy.
That's a spicy take, and it's true. Cuban, my man.
My man.